Minimum. No, 4.
Oh,
4
you
Jones.
put me in here.
But only one Sunny.
Hallelujah.
Oh, okay.
And only one. No, there's more than one Amy. How's Mark's forehead?
It's getting better, but he really did a number on himself.
I bet he did. He's lucky. Was he wearing glasses?
No,
I'm glad he's lucky.
yeah.
And his nose too.
Well, he broke his fall. He just didn't break it soon enough.
That's okay.
Anyway,
Could be
he's
worse.
fine. He's just
Hi, Christina.
healing.
Got your hair down. Looks good.
Thank you, Sunny. How are you today?
I'm always good.
Good, good, awesome.
Always
I
good.
love-
Have to have a positive attitude,
I
right?
love seeing your smiley face every Shabbat.
Thank you. That made my day.
Absolutely.
Hi, Sandy and Myrna,
I'm
Hi.
for tomorrow night.
We Americans were killed.
Andrea,
Oh, you're a young
Down the
guy,
line.
19-year-old.
Terry,
He was studying to be a
Irv
rabbi.
again. And Lisa, how are you this evening? That's you.
Oh, I'm very
Yes,
good.
Lisa.
Thank you. Who
I
asked?
see. Did you see for the prayer book? You saw the thing in the chat?
Yeah. Thanks, Sunny.
Oh, I didn't do it. I'm pointing it out.
I think I have an old prayer book because sometimes
Dr. Nancy said, good to see you both.
Oh,
You're going to say hi.
oh,
Oh, Samanche. Oh, nice. All of a sudden it's quiet. How come it's so quiet?
We're waiting.
Oh,
You're waiting.
I ain't quite
With bated
Shabbat
breath.
We're waiting
Shalom.
patiently.
I see. I see.
Hey, everybody.
It's over here.
Hey.
Sunny, do you have a sun behind you? It's so nice.
Yes, as a matter of fact.
Ah, there they are, Mark and Debbie. Hi, Mark and Debbie.
Rabbis, wait to reconvene.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. How wonderful that we get to be together. Our Cantor Ben David is going to with a song especially for this day.
I'm waiting to see if we have a surprise Cantor.
All right, mute everybody. With love, Rabbi. So I'm going to do a little nigun. We're going to begin with a special nigun tonight. There are words to it, but tonight, no words necessary. But we need to lift ourselves with a little bit of clapping. You can even shrug your shoulders. I don't care what you do, but I think it's nice when we all see each other move in some way, that we're doing something at the same time together that connects us, like John playing guitar with me. I could feel you, John, playing guitar with me, and I love it. So I'm going to go like this. Lie, 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 lie. And everyone's going to go like this. Yep, follow the rabbis. Lie, 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 lie. Good. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. One more time. Oh yeah. I don't know what it is. You know, Jews are not known for their rhythm. But man, are we good clappers. Here we go. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Okay, beautiful. Now get ready. You can move your bodies. You can sway. We're still going to create a fire. Here we go in our song. Lie, la, la, lie, la, la, lie, la, la, lie, 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 lie. Lie, la, la, lie, la, la, lie, la, la, lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Oh, yes. Very engaged. Shabbat Shalom. Lie, 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 lie. 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 All right, now here's the payoff, the best part. Lie, la, la, lie, la, la, lie, la, la, lie, 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 lie. Lie, la, la, lie, la, la, lie, la, la, lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. And one more time, you're gonna find when you say that lie, lie, that it makes you want to throw your head back. That's good. That's good. It's a release. Lie, la, la, lie, la, la, lie, la, la, lie, 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 lie. Lie, la, la, lie, la, la, lie, la, la, lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi. Thank you for letting me do that song. I love
Shabbat
it.
Shalom. I really, we all, as the clergy, for the first time earlier this week, and it was so beautiful. And that song, that nigun, that wordless song which Cantor Ben David began us with, is a song of exuberance and joy. You can imagine yourself dancing around a bonfire to that song, because that's where that song is supposed to be. It is a song for Lag BaOmer. For Lag BaOmer is supposed to be a celebration. The occasion, which ended tonight at sundown, was a minor Jewish holiday. It's the 33rd day of the counting of the Omer, that period between Passover and Shavuot, between liberation from Egypt and the revelation of the 10 Commandments at Mount Sinai. And Lag BaOmer, for many of our ultra-Orthodox friends, has become an opportunity for sacred pilgrimage to Mount Meron in the north of Israel, to the grave of the sage Shimon Bar Yochai, for a bonfire lighting ceremony. And as we are all probably aware, that's where a stampede that has already claimed 45 lives occurred, and dozens and dozens and dozens more injuries. In terms of civilian casualties, this was the worst day in the history of Israel. The questions of how are numerous. How could this happen? What caused this? And in this time of mourning, people are additionally asking that thing that people tend to ask when they are in mourning: how could you, capital Y, let this happen? We've all surely experienced our friends, our family, maybe asking these questions in a time of mourning. What do you say? Our response in this moment is simple and practiced. We put our arms around each other. We hold each other tight. We celebrate the love that we have. We celebrate being together. We hold close our Israeli brethren. We hold the pain that all Jews are feeling in this time that was supposed to be a huge and a great celebration. And that celebration so distinctly centered around light. Well, in a beautiful way, we transition as the sun sets from Lag BaOmer, the 33rd day, to Shabbat, to a day of celebrating around a bonfire, to a day of celebrating light that God has brought into this world, that each of us brings into this world with all of the good deeds that we do, all of the actions that we do every time we hold each other, hold hands, and hopefully hug each other once again soon enough. We bring more and more and more expansive light into this world. And while we might not be around a bonfire right now, We might not even be around a physical space together right now. With each of us bringing our light, how much brighter is it than a bonfire? We could never create as much light as we are doing right now by being together, by singing together, by holding virtual hands together. So we're going to bring that Shabbat light into our world. And Hannah and Ethan, our regular Shabbat musicians, are going to join us on our virtual bima here to help us to bring in that light as we are on page 120.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Hannah and Ethan, did you hear my heart singing during that?
So much.
Yeah, that was incredible. Thank you both.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Thank you to the two of you for bringing so much light into our world, both in just who you are and through the lovely joy of the music that you two create. Thank you. And for our Kiddush, the celebration of sweetness on the Shabbat, we invite up to our virtual bima here, Manny Gonzalez, often our greeter and passing out Sidurim when we're in person. Thank you, Manny, for leading us in the Kiddush. And I invite our community to rise in body or in spirit.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Bore peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'ahavahu rasom yihilanu zikaron lemahaseh v'reshit ki hu yom tekilah lemirka hekodesh Ze lizyat Misrayim Kivanu bakata Otanu kidashta Mikoamim B'Shabbat Kodesha V'Ahavahu Rasom Imhatanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen.
Amen, amen. Thank you so much, Manny. Truly appreciate you bringing that extra sweetness into our Shabbat. Now, just 3 miles up the road from Meron is the mystical town of Tzfat, the town of the mystics. And it is here that we get the teaching of going out into the fields around Tzfat and going out to welcome in Shabbat, to welcome in the love and the joy that is encompassed on this beautiful day. And we celebrate that with the words of Lecha Dodi on page 138.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor b'zachor b'ribor echad Ishmianu el hamiuchad Adonai echad u'shmo echad L'shemo tiferet v'li תפילה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה סוף מעשה במחשבה תפילה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה התעוררי התעוררי כי בעורך קומי אורי 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 שיר דברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה. Can we bring in this beautiful Sabbath? But I think we should stand for it. It deserves it. Let's rise for Shabbat. Oh, here she comes. Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam b'simcha u'tola toch emunei segula boi chala lecha dodi לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה.
We may be seated as we welcome in the angels of Shabbat to travel with us on page 142.
Thanks, Rabbi. Perfect. Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Hashare, Malachi Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachi Hamlachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem Shalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon, Mi Melech Malachi Hamlachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Nil Shalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon, Mi Melech Malachi Hamlachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Zeitam Shalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon, Mi Melech Malachi Hamlachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu.
We rise in body and spirit for the words of the Baruch Hu, page 146.
Lai, 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 lai. Baruch Hu et Adonai, Yilmah Mevorach. Baruch Adonai, HaMevorach, Le'olam Va'ed. Lai, 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 lai. We continue with some of our most important words that we cherish on page 152. Some of us close our eyes or cover our eyes so we can really hear these words. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Please be seated. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha. V'ayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibartam bam. B'shivtecha b'beitecha u'v'lechtecha v'aderech u'v'shochbecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu l'todafot b'neinecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha l'man tizkru v'atzitem et kol mitzvotai v'hitem kedoshim le'Elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem.
Emet. One of the things I love about our tradition is that it's constantly pushing us to expand the way we think about God. I think the word God itself is very intimidating because we're often taught to think of God as a man who sits in the sky, but many of us obviously don't really believe that. And in the Micha Mocha, there's this beautiful moment where Miriam experiences the feeling of her breath being taken away. She experiences this moment of excitement, of awesomeness, and she says, that's God, Ze Eli. That is God, the feeling of perspectives changing, of freedom, of excitement, and of awe. And she marches forward with confidence and bravery. So I hope we can keep expanding our ideas of God together with Micha Mocha on page 158.
Ya ba ba bim bim bam, ya ba ba bim bam, ya ba ba bim bim bam, ya ba ba bim bam, ay 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 ay, ya ba ba bim bam, ay 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 ay, ya ba ba bim bam, mi chamocha va'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar. Koresh Norati Loto Sefele Norati Loto Sefele Malchutecha Ra'uvanecha Okei Ayam Lifnei Moshe u'Miriam Ze'eli Anu Ve'amru Adonai Lo Leolam.
On page 161, let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Israel ve'al Yerushalayim. We rise for the central prayer of our service, the Amidah. We are on page 164.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agita hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov. Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor, Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Bekonei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, U'mevi Gula Livnei Bneihem, L'man Shemo B'Ahava, Melech Hozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Be'ezrat Sarah. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, צומח נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו, לשני עפר מחלמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך במית ומחיה ומצמיח ישוע ונאמן אתה החיות הכל ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל.
Take a moment for silent prayer and personal reflection and contemplation. And when you're done, you can be seated.
Adonai Tzuri, Adonai Tzuri, V'goali.
It can be so incredibly challenging to encounter the deep unfairness that exists in our world. It doesn't make any sense that at a time when restrictions on COVID are being loosened in Chicago, much to many of our happiness and delight, that people in India could be suffering from the same disease and pandemic so deeply. And so I think the point of our prayers, the point of a prayer of healing, is not to be in place of action, but is to help face that emotion, that shock of that unfairness, to give us strength so that after Shabbat, we can go out into the world and say, we're not going to be people who want to just sit all the time in a world that is filled with unfairness. And we're going to try everything we can to do our part. So we are sending prayers of healing and love to anybody in the world who is suffering in this moment, emotionally, physically, or spiritually. You can unmute yourself and share their name out loud or type it in the chat for our Misha Berach.
Howard Nagelberg, Gail Rothner, Mike Giannini.
Adam Siegel, Andrew Siegel, Howard Siegel, and Laura McGrew.
Susie and David Schaub.
Sarah Golub, Eileen Landis.
Ed David.
Ashley Dorothy,
Ruben Kotarasevsky, Carlos Tabares.
Barb and Barry Kane.
Add to those names Jim Berger, Rich Magid and family, Paul Schultz, Brad Hugh, Jonathan Spitz, Elaine Baddock, Viola Kokosa, Stan Gross, Betsy Gross, Beverly Givens, Tracy Lipsig Kite, Sam Jacobson, Malu Rose, Mahalia Shobani, James Amick, Kylie Grant, Fletcher Kurtz, Jerry Scanzano, the family of Eugene L. Bronstein, all those injured in Meron, Barb Sussman, Ella Wexler, those impacted by the Israeli tragedy, Jamie Baskin, Flo Bernberg, Georgia Colvin, Sarah Golub, Liviana Bree Salzer, Annie Olivia, Laura Cortez, Dee Dee Cohen, Avner Drucker, Hazel Golden Lee, Ronnie and Marissa Green, and Amy Lee.
Brian Britton, Candy Roller, and Lynn Miller.
We turn to our Misha Berach, our healing prayer on page 667.
Misha Berach Avotenu Makor HaBracha Imotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misha Berach Avotenu Makor HaBracha Avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. I love singing with you, Rabbi Singer.
Well, Shabbat Shalom. I am not sure who all here watched the Oscars. And I'm wondering also who here watched the movies that then made up the Oscars. Because I know that there are some people, I can admit for myself, that sometimes I'm interested in what happens in the fashion as much as I'm interested in the films that are up for the Oscars. But I did watch Nomadland. Anybody watch Nomadland? And I have to say that that my husband Damien and I were decidedly mixed about how much we appreciated the movie. I loved it, and Damien liked it. And when we were talking about it, one of the questions that Damien was saying is like, why now? Like, why is this the movie for now that people are really wanting to watch and give such high regard to now in this time of COVID? And I said, you know, I wonder if it's because for 90 minutes, we were taken out on the open road, afoot, if not lighthearted, healthy and free. And we could go and experience these adventures, like beautiful vistas. Remember those? And peering up at the stars and meeting new people, and many who were kind, and going out into the world in order to learn more about ourselves. It reminds me of that great journey of Abraham and Sarah's, where God said, Lech Lecha, go for yourself out into this world toward a land of promise. And I love how the Hasids read Lech Lecha, not go for yourself, but go find yourself. Go out in order to find what lies within. And I imagine our biblical ancestors had this wonderful experience, seeing those beautiful vistas and the arid terrain, and peering up at the stars as they imagined their descendants, and meeting new people as they gathered them under the wings of the Shekhinah. They went out into the world to learn more about themselves And in doing so, they carried on our destiny. And so now, after the news we heard from the mayor's office yesterday, we're invited to do the same, to take to the open road or the open bars and open theaters and open stadiums, and in time, an open temple. Part of what happens when we're opening up in this way is we're realizing that we're in different places. We're all feeling different things. Some of us are ready. We are vaccinated and we're already experiencing reunions or meeting grandbabies for the first time, or eating out at restaurants with friends indoors, or seeing the Cubs or the White Sox, or getting ready to watch a movie on the big screen. Is anybody else mouth watering for our first taste of that theater popcorn? And others of us, well, we're nervous. It's been nice to be at home, enjoying life at this different pace, dinners at home, time for walks, loving our new and old furry friends. Do we really want to go back to the way things were? And some of us have experienced tragedies and didn't have any in-person funerals or Shiva minions, and we postponed them until the world opened back up. So we're dreading the memorial service that we now feel compelled to plan, even as comforting as it'll be. When we're asked how we're doing, we feel like answering with that great title of Nora McInerney's podcast, terrible. Thanks for asking. And that makes us feel doubly terrible and alone, because everyone else seems so unabashedly, annoyingly excited. So here we are as a community experiencing this complicated time with mixed emotion and mixed experiences. So leave it to our tradition to offer a bit of advice so simple. We wonder if it can really help. The Torah says, Sfartem lechem, number your days. Or more precisely, in our Torah portion this week, mirroring those words, lechem, like lecha, Sfartem lechem, count for yourself. Or that advice, like to Abraham and Sarah, count to find yourself. This time of counting the Omer has always been a time of mixed emotions. That first experience in the desert journey, walking toward revelation, fear and excitement were those emotions, counting the Omer that first time. And then when we arrived in the land of Israel, eventually in biblical times, it was this time of great anxiety about our spring harvest. Was it going to come to be? Were we going to go hungry that year? Just filled with nerves and anxiety. And in early rabbinic times, it was a time of great tragedy. 12,000 pairs of Rabbi Akiva's students died in a plague. And thus, this has remained a time of semi-mourning until the 33rd day of the Omer, Lag BaOmer, when the plague abated and one of Akiva's surviving students, who had become a great teacher, Shimon Bar Yochai, who you heard about at the beginning of the service, well, he died on Lag BaOmer, on this 33rd day of the Omer, surrounded by light. And yet we know that this date will forevermore, from yesterday, it will also be a holiday marked by the death of Hasidim, of many holy travelers. This time of counting the Omer rolls all of these complex emotions and varied experiences into one simple count. And it invites us to use this time well. For many of us, this time of counting is like a countdown. We're excited. We can't wait till we get out of this. And for others, we are counting down the time, counting these days, because we just want to get through this. And yet I think this count is an invitation to stay present in the swell of mixed emotions, to ask thoughtful questions and give honest answers. Our world is opening back up, and we are excited and anxious and joyful and angry and grateful and scared and giddy and sorrowful. And honestly, most of us feel a little of all of these emotions and more. Svartem lechem, count for yourselves. Find yourself in this counting, God beckons. And we respond as the psalmist once did. Limnot yamenu, teach us to count our days honestly, that we may obtain a wise heart. Lavav chokhmah, a wise heart. We don't ask for a simple heart or a heart of pleasantness or even a heart of happiness. We ask for a wise heart, an open heart, an honest heart that takes the good with the bad and recognizes the value in all the feelings we experience in this beautiful and flawed yet miraculous world with stunning vistas that we can experience in the fresh air or in our fresh minds. Stars that we can gaze at in nature or through our windows. Kind people throughout this beloved community who ask us how we are and accept us just as we are in this home where we are whole, in this community where we count our days, our feelings, our whole selves. And by doing so, we are constantly reminded in the most profound way, we count, we matter. Warts and all, we are loved. What a time it's been, and what a time it will be. The open road of life awaits us. It counts on us. Such is the way of the world. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, Rabbi. Such is the way of the world, you can never know just where to put all your faith and how will it grow. God, rise up, burning black holes and dark memories. God, rise up, turning mistakes into gold. Such is the passage of time, too fast to fold, suddenly swallowed by signs, lo and behold. God, rise up, burning black holes and dark memories. God, rise up, turning mistakes into gold. La 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 Sing and be joyous and lament with me, please. La 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 la
Chatihi. Thank you. Do you think we should count the Omer now as a community, Cantor? How does that sound?
I think that sounds like a great idea. Cantor's always up for that. We're on page 570.
We will, this past day was the 33rd day of the Omer, so you know where we are on the current count that starts tonight.
Correct. Okay, 570. Hinani muchanum zuman, hinani muchanum zuman, lekayem mitzvah taseh shel sfirat, mitzvah taseh shel sfirat, haomer, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kinishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat haomer hayom arba'im u'shloshim yom shehem arba'a shavuot v'shisha yamim laomer.
That was a great counting. Thank you. And I think we have some announcements to make. There's some big things that are going on in our community, and it's very exciting that we get to share some of them.
You want me to start off with what's happening tomorrow evening, which I'm so excited about? Rabbi Conover and I are going to be in the flesh together, everyone. That's right. Outdoors, not even at the synagogue. We are going to be having a special Lag BaOmer bonfire and Havdalah with our 40s and 50s. And so join us. This will be it is at a specific destination, correct, Rabbi? But we don't have to disclose it, but it's not a Temple Sholem, I'm pretty sure.
You should RSVP to get that.
Thank you. Okay, don't look for us at the temple, but something special will be happening tomorrow night.
And I'll go ahead with, if you miss the Temple Sholem building itself and miss the beautiful stained glass especially, this Sunday morning at 9:30, Lindy Rubin is teaching a class about the great stained glass in Chicago synagogues. So that will be a really nice one to help to refamiliarize ourselves with the building before we get back to it.
And on Monday morning, you can join IoT for the Monday morning minyan starting at 8 a.m. It's a very extremely come as you are, fun, beautiful way to wake up, 30-minute morning service.
I love it. And who knows, you might want to get a twofer in and then stay for the Monday musical meditation that happens at 9:30. And who knows, maybe there's somebody who says, I want a threefer. And I'll say that all week, you can join us next week at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, where we're going to be able to study a little bit, pray a little bit, sing a little bit, and just be able to bask in community as we count the Omer. Rabbi Gelman, what are you teaching?
For the Omer, for Kaddish Rabbanon, we are talking about the different platforms and history of Reform Judaism.
Wow.
How that plays in. Yeah.
Love it. Rabbi Singer, can you give us just a little detail?
Yes, every week we read on Tuesdays at 3 p.m. We read and discuss a Yehuda Amichai poem, an Israeli poet.
Oh my gosh. And for me, on Thursdays and Fridays, we look at passages, tantalizing passages from the Talmud. And we are wrapping up one that is well, I don't know if it's a showstopper or a beginning, but it's wonderful.
And there's a big moment on Wednesday. On Wednesday, May 5th at 7 p.m., is Temple Sholom's inaugural Distinguished Speakers Series. We're so excited as this year addressing critical issues involving access and equity to healthcare in the United States. We're going to begin the series with Dr. George Benjamin, Executive Director of the American Public Health Association, discussing reframing healthcare and bridging the gap in an unequal world. So be sure to join us for that. It's going to be a very big night.
I'll say again, it's at 7 o'clock on Wednesday. Please join us. We would love to see you there. More than that, there's so much for us both to learn and then to do, to act on those words that he's going to share with us. We're very much looking forward to this, and we're grateful to the Trannon family for making this happen. And with that, we turn now to the bottom of page
586.
Well, you know, I think not yet, because
I think not yet too.
some
I think not yet.
extraordinary students who have been going on this wonderful journey with the clergy of Temple Sholom and with our Director of Lifelong Learning, Jay Rappaport, as we have learned, I think, as much from these students as they have learned from us in the Introduction to Judaism class. So if we could, we would love to have all of you spotlighted here. Nate and Carl, still sitting not with your names.
Hi, guys.
So Carl and Nate, it's great to see you. Bear and Emma, wonderful to see you. Bear, it was such a treasure to have you at our Tuesday morning Talmud class. I hope you will become a regular and continue to be one of our teachers. Ayana, wonderful to see you. John, great to see you. Laurel, what a gift to see you tonight, and what a gift you are. And Christina, wonderful, wonderful to see you here. And so as we are all gathered on this evening, we have the honor of being able to, we've been talking about Kaddish D'Rabbanan. Kaddish D'Rabbanan is a way that we mark a sacred time of learning, where we come to some siyum, some conclusion that really is always the invitation to the next beginning. And so as you complete this Introduction to Judaism class, we know that you are lifelong learners. We know that we're on this journey together, and we're grateful for it. We pray that for you, that every day that you have breath, you find that you're learning something new. You're asking one more big question, and that you find some kind of an answer in Judaism that allows you to ask the next question and the next question and the next question. And that your journey is both satisfying, but also just unsatisfying enough for you to always want to learn more, not just through your head, but through your heart, where all learning really happens. And that it then allows you to have the kind of transformation that you deserve, and also that you do for this community with your participation in it. We love you. We have really appreciated learning with you. And we hope, as we sing these words of gratitude for our teachers and our students, that this learning feels like a lifelong pursuit, that we pursue, all of us together.
Thank you so much, Rabbi. We're on page 667, and I mean this sincerely. As I look at all of your faces, we've spent some intense nights together, even on Zoom, and you've been extraordinary. For our teachers and their students, and the students of their students, we ask for peace and loving kindness, and let us say Amen. And for those who study Torah, here and everywhere, may you be blessed with all you need, and let us say Amen. We ask for peace and loving kindness, and let us say Amen. We ask for peace and loving kindness, and let us say peace and loving kindness, and let us say amen. We ask for peace and loving kindness, and let us say amen. Amen and amen.
Ah, beautiful. Amen and amen. And thank you. And with that, then we turn now to the bottom of page 586 for the words of Aleinu. We rise in spirit.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם וגור עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים hakadosh baruch hu. Continue on 591. V'nemar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yihi Adonai echad u'shmo echad.
They said about Shimon Bar Yochai, that great sage from the 2nd century, that a yahrzeit candle would not be enough. It wouldn't suffice to be able to cherish his memory. We needed a huge bonfire. And now, with the tragedy that befell so many on Lag BaOmer, we know forever for all of us, as we light those bonfires on Lag BaOmer, we will be thinking about them, having a huge yahrzeit candle where all of their blessed memories are treasured. And I know for some of us, probably all of us, we have people who have passed from this earth, whose lives were so magnificent, who, when they were living, shined so brightly. No yahrzeit candle could suffice. We need a bonfire. And so on this night, where we are marking yahrzeits, where we are also being able to remember those who recently passed from this earth, when we are remembering people who died in a great tragedy, that we know that their light lives on through us. And we know that each year when we light these bonfires, we will think of them. And so on this Shabbat, I'll begin by sharing the names of those who died in Meron, those whose names we know now. We know that there'll be more added. Menachem Zekbach, Simcha Diskind, Rabbi Shraga Gestenter, Rabbi Shraga Tentner, Shimon Matalon, David Kraus, Chaim Rak, Yisrael Anakva, Eliyahu Cohn, Hanoch Slod, Elazar Mordechai Goldberg, Moshe Ben Shalom, Yedidia Fogel, Yonatan Habroni, Moshe Mordechai Al-Haddad, Yosef David Al-Haddad, Moshe Natan, Netta Englander, Yehoshua Englander, Chaim Seller, Yehuda Leib Rubin, Shmuel Tzvi Klagsbald, Yaakov Elchanan Strovsky, Daniel Morris, Israel Anakwa, Moshe Levy, Nachman Kirschbaum, Ariel Tzadik, Rabbi Eliezer Tzvi Yosef, and Abraham Daniel Amnon. We also think of our beloved from Temple Sholem, who have passed from this earth in recent days. We hold them in our hearts and we think of their families. Gerald Baer, Rabbi Robert J. Marks, Jaime Phillips, Morris DeCath, Barbara Fox, Stephanie Myers, Judith Getzels, and yet to be laid to rest. We think of his daughter, Carolyn Bronstein, such a love in our community, as we remember her father, Eugene L. Bronstein, who will be laid to rest this Sunday. We also remember and mark the yard site of Robert Chaikin, Ben Elster, Jermaine Irvens, Nancy Gardner, Louis Golub, Nancy Gould, Patricio Guzman, Liza Kagan, Herb Klebano, Ray Lendow, Robert Lipschultz, Samuel Marinson, Shlomo Muradi, Reba Ocheret, Sylvia Reifler, Charles Schwartz, Albert Siegel, William Lee Soberoff, Mildred Stone, Mary Frances Sapira, Gertrude Takath, Meyer Takunsky, May Welsh, and Charles Wolfe. If there are others you are remembering whose names you would like to say aloud, please unmute yourself and share their names, or you could write their names in the chat.
Jennifer Greenberg.
Howard Robert Ember.
Howard Villa and Sandra Goinshore.
Roberta Kay and Rebecca Luker.
Rose Nessel. It's my grandmother.
And we also remember Benjamin Redder, Michael Cooper, John M. Griffith, Frances Ruth Walnack, Lige Fletter. Let me say that again. Lige Fletter, Pat Trumutola, and Henrietta Charfus. We turn now to page 598 for Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish.
Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
V'yalma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei. V'chayachon uvyom echon uv'chaye d'chol Beit Yisrael v'agala uv'zman kariv v'imru.
Amen.
Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach leolam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei d'kurusha.
Grateful.
Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechamata ta'amiran bi'alma v'imru.
Amen.
Yehi shlam araba min shemaya v'chaim alinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru.
Amen.
Seh shalom v'imromav hu yaseh shalom alinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru.
Amen.
Oh, seh shalom v'imromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru imru. Amen. You were very compliant when we started the service, and I'm going to gallery view so that I can have an eye on all of you. And let's see if you remember rhythm. Lie, 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 lie. 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 Lie, la, la, lie, la, la, lie, la, la, lie, 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 lie. Lie, la, la, lie, la, la, lie, la, la, lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Gonna rise up, burning black holes in dark memories. Gonna rise up, turning mistakes into gold. Lie, la la lie, la la lie, la la lie, 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 lie. Lie, la la lie, la la lie, la la lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, y'all. I think people can unmute. Oh, nope, now they can unmute. There it is.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
There we
shalom.
go.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom. Oh my gosh, Sherry. Very wild.
There she was.
Here. Oh my gosh.
Here with my mom. My dad's yard site of all things. So
Oh, so
Now
grateful.
we say
How are you?
goodbye.
Shalom. I'm so happy to see you guys.
Share his great memory with you. Mwah.
I want you to know, Sherry, I talked about you
Huh?
this morning with John.